too long. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email is info@creativelife.org. It's one email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month, and nobody else will get your email from us. We don't monetize the social medias, so what we ask you to do, we don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. We ask you to go like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. It bumps us in the algorithms, because, algorithms are not our friends. So if you could do that, we would appreciate it. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, and I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. So please, if you would do that, we would appreciate it. All right. We are on to Plato and the Ideal today. We are fast running out of book. I think there's like 4 more chapters. So, I know enough about Plato to be a little concerned about what's going on in here. So, and interesting, it starts out with Socrates, which I'm sorry, I grew up on Bill and Ted and want to call him Socrates, but Socrates, in parentheses. So we're going to start with the Wayfarer. Around 2 heads, a single halo ran. 2 souls seemed knit in one composite man. The first I knew was Socrates, whose wit was gentle, though with one blow of it he cracked the skulls of sophists till the youth turned from half-truths to learn the eternal truth. From this great soul who proved that power and pelf bear little weight with him who knows himself, his rough and almost satyr face aglow with earnest kindliness he sought to show that beauty, truth, and justice are not 3, but root in one and form a trinity, from which all lesser truths can be evolved and through which social problems can be solved. He taught by questions based on moral law, and though he had belief in gods, he saw that in himself man holds up an equity in all the wisdom of divinity. Look thou within thyself, and thou shalt find a law to govern all of humankind, the good, the beautiful, the true, for good is but intelligence when understood, and virtue, wisdom, so that both are one. The wise are good, the good are wise, and shun all ugliness in form or thought, and view alone the good, the beautiful, and the true. Nor had the gods left Socrates without a guide, who never kept the sage in doubt. His daemon knew and spoke, and he would hear the voice of soul that fell upon his ear, the inner source of all the sage's lore. And even in that hour when his accusers swore that he was enemy to state and youth, he spoke not for acquittal, but for truth. And he forgave those men whose every breath had sworn the lies that brought the sentence death. And when the hour drew on, he stood upon the brink of eternal life. He did not shrink, but took the cup of hemlock, smiled and said, Be not dismayed, nor say that I am dead, but that the body only lieth here. He breathed his last faint words, Be of good cheer. My eyes were full of tears, as though the death of Socrates had been a blow. For eyes entranced by astral light can view all of the past, yet see the present too. The life events and suffering of the sages seemed present at the altar of the ages. I had no need to ask the name of him who shared the halo. He was half synonym. For Socrates, none can disengage the mind of Plato from the Athenian sage. In those great dialogues by which they sought to utter truth and clarify the thought of youthful searchers helping each other to find the vein of truth that runs through every mind. Yet by the same device we see their quarry drawn, the teeth of falsehood from Sophic jaws. of scoffers by logic makes the dissident disgorge the truth in their own wonderment, to their own wonderment. How can I best portray this noble sage? Sole son of Socrates, a mind for every age. He will survive in his immortal fame, known as Plato, though that was not his name, but nickname given in a playful mood, because his shoulders were both wide and good for those athletic sports in which in youth he had excelled, as now he did in truth. Here was, save one, the last of those great seers who taught the sacred doctrine through the years, and who inscribed on philosophic pages the triune wisdom of the ancient sages. Would that my speech held pigments that would draw a living portrait of him who took the law of mind in action from the ancient seers and proved its truth for the eternal years. His strong, kind face, his eyes so clear and blue, they seemed to pierce straight to the heart of you. His voice high-pitched, though ever soft and kind, he was the incarnation of his mind. What made his genius shine like some great star at zenith of the universe? What are his gifts of truth that life the questing soul to highest hopes of union with the whole? His gifts of truth that lift the questing soul to the highest hopes of union with the whole. He taught what Krishna and great Hermes knew, Pythagoras, Orpheus, and the mysteries too. But by the use of myth, of logic, and of art, he gave to reason a newly beating heart. The scribe. The pharaoh paused a moment to reflect upon the mother doctrine and retrace the varied forms in which it had been taught, down to the present hour, and to include Socratic doctrine out of Plato's mouth. The pharaoh. Trisect a circle, and on the radii write out the words depicting Trinity, Father, Mother, Son, and once again write bride and bridegroom and the word, and then inscribe the numbers 1, 2, and 3, or body, soul, and spirit, triplicity. Then write the words good, beautiful, and true, and once again bring Trinity to view. The pharaoh continues. It was the work of Plato to portray the threefold concept opening the way to understanding of the mysteries, though not in terms of monad and the dyad, which formed the substance of the sacred triad. Induction in the secret mysteries forbids revealing matters such as these. Yet he made clear the threefold path to enter. All lines are one when they have merged at center. His metaphysics was a duplicate drawn from Pythagoras, and in his great and all-embracing mind he formed anew the code of Hermes. That what the eye may view is not the real, but an image of a pattern drawn and held in realms above. Seen through the camera's eye, the center of a snowflake holds the pattern, and the form of man-made objects manifold, and so revealed that man but reads the mind of God in all he claims that he himself creates. The things of earth are but derivative and incomplete, mere copies that will live their little day, the shadow of ideas that are eternal in the higher spheres. This doctrine of ideals makes test of wit, and few there be who grasp the truth of it. The art lies here to think in concepts, bringing together in one total group the thing, and all we think about the thing, the whole will then be known. No longer thing, but soul or being. The metaphysical idea No, the metaphysical ideal is thus perceived as permanent and real. It can be proved that senses do not see, nor hear, nor touch, nor taste reality. An object, let us say, stands on the lawn. Around its edge 12 numbers have been drawn. A pin or gnomon set upon its face creates a shadow which the eye can trace. I think he's talking about a sundial. And we tell time, the dial does not tell, nor does the sanctus from the vesper bell. To untaught minds, the dial is but form, but to be used, it must arouse a swarm of thoughts, the purpose, plan, the law of measurements of time, anterior to now, which must relate the future and the past. It takes all these to understand the dial set to capture time. The real of anything is known through the ideal. The thoughts and concepts of which surround a thing give meaning to it, nor all the arguing of aesthetic minds has power to prove a force so great as that which rests in love. The soul of man springs from the universe, and he is victimized by his own curse. But he escapes when he has understood the highest truths, the idea of the good. But he must turn to heaven. No, if he but turn to heaven, he shall find the perfect pattern of all creative mind. Let him reflect the pattern and be free from the pains of matter and its mockery. The Farer. I listened well to Plato, for I knew what modern science had brought to view. A confirmation of the world unseen, intangible to sense, for senses screen, magnetic fields which form the pattern's mold, for cosmic substance, that such substance hold, no other quality than the ideal, which mind conceives to make the world seem real. Yet as I read the mind of Plato there, who stood serene beside the altar stair, I was disturbed by thoughts that ran like this. How oft is truth bedaubed by well-meant kiss? I think he's referring to Judas there. Our very words betray the meaning of the real, and as we speak, we often seem to steal from truth, if we by logic seek to prove what is unknown, save by the grace of love, and by the feeling roused in each of us through recognition of the marvelous. Say not another world, above, beyond, nor separate, nor does it correspond. The subject and the object are the same in this one world, and the opposites are name. We give to those divisions of our view, the I and not I, are devices to clear the thought and form a heliostat, reflecting truth in symbols. Thou art that. The Farer continues. Again, I pierced the mind of Plato, read the parable by which he sought to shed a light upon the meaning of ideal and prove that concepts only are the real. He told of men who lived in a cave from birth, are shut away from the sight of things on earth, save that they see upon the rearward wall the shadows cast by unseen figures, all the movements of soldiers or women who bear jars upon their heads, and they can view no other things, and they can hear only the echoes of men's voices, and suppose the moving shadows speak, and only those to such as these the shadows would be truth, for they had known no other thing, forsooth. But one of them escapes. He sees the light that casts the shadow in the cave. The sight of everything comes within his view, appears illusion, the shadows only true. And should some guide point out the objects here are source of all the shadows that appear. Within the cave he was by wonder caught, his mind confused, and he was quite distraught. Or when the caveman mounts some height and sees the sun come blazing from the night, he will be dazzled and not at first aware of what is real, though he can see it there. At length he looks into the sun as cause, and the source, the substance, and the laws of manifested forms, and knows them as one, the light, the shadows, the rising sun, the thing, the thoughts about the thing, the ear that hears, the hour, the place, the time of year, are categories, qualities that embrace the whole of anything and give it place and meaning in the mind. And thus the only real is doctrine of ideas, where Plato set his seal. The Wayfarer continues, I heard the presence speaking thus to me. The presence. Judge not by sense, by what you hear or see, and yet beware lest you befuddle sense when you deny a real experience. For pain and poverty and shadows tell how you can hold the very thought of hell, not place nor thing, but failure to proclaim the beautiful, the good, the true, the name of him whom Socrates and Plato knew, the just or good, the beautiful and true. The Wayfarer. Though well conversed with abstract thought, because the presence taught me to behold the laws, the qualities, the purpose, the sentiments that cling around the visible and make a thought a thing, I still was like a swimmer in the sea, while waves of wonder thundered over me. I followed Plato into far-flung lands, to Egypt's temples in the golden sands, to Croton, where Pythagoras met death by fire and sword, where Plato witnessed his reverence for the seer from whom he caught the yearning for the mysteries and sought initiation in the passion plays, first brought to Greece by Orpheus, whose rays of light spread over western skies, and in Iliad Plato found the origin of his conception of the migrant soul, of its descent in matter, and the whole long story of suffering and reascent. The drama of Demeter, the great mother, divine intelligence, and of her daughter, Persephone, Psyche, restored to breath, to prove the soul is never bound by death. I passed with Plato through the mystery and saw the source of his philosophy of life, and how Pythagoras and seers of every age had poured the gain of years into his mind and heart. I felt his warm, rich wisdom as he turned the thought to form, or back again to thought. The noumena equivalent to all phenomena. I saw the world as it passed through his mind, how ideas changed to concepts, saw him find that they exist not as congrues, but metaphysical realities. And since ideas alone can be the real, good is supreme, unchangeable, ideal. Plato escaped the martyr's death, 'tis said, became an exile from his home instead. But I, who read the mind of Plato, saw he never wavered from the mental law that sits supreme upon its throne, and kept his faith in mind, one God alone, the God of Socrates, whose brow one God had kissed, though he was murdered as an atheist. The scribe. Then Plato bowed before the sacred fane. He touched his brow, and bowing once again, he gave Melchizedek a leather roll that held his sacred doctrine of the soul. While from the mists that screened the cosmic throne, exalted voices praised the Lord his God alone, and bid attendance of the saints and sages, the seers and saviors of unnumbered ages. Song of the Sages. Come join ye your voices in praising the Lord, who maketh the worlds by the power of his word. All hail and all praise to the love and the might of God the Creator, whose marvelous light dispels all the darkness of chaos and night. We praise and adore thee, thy ruler divine, whose kingdom the world is. Thy love shall entwine all hearts and all hopes in one union of praise. To thee, God of men, of nations we rise, our soul's adoration, thou ancient of days. And as he alluded, we are going to chapter 13 is Jesus, who he calls the last of the great masters. There's another religion out there that might argue that, but that is neither here nor there. And I am very short on time. Plato, he referenced Plato's The Cave. So I will put a link to Plato, to Socrates, and to Plato's The Cave. If I find anything else interesting, I'll link it, but I'm going to have to do it when I get home from work. I gotta go. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a take care of business day, you got this day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a drink plenty of water day, a be safe in the weather day, a take care of yourself day, a take a break day, an eat something good for you day, an eat something fun day, a read something fun day, a listen to some good music day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough. Just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action. A brilliant light. Did I say a brilliant light? A beautiful light, a beautiful masterpiece. A brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godling. Explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I should be back with you around 9:15, and we will tackle Jesus, the last of the great masters. There is another master after him, but I'm going to bet that Ernest is not well versed in Islam and Muhammad. So, yeah. But that's neither here nor there for the purposes of this book, but it might be. So, hey, let's keep that in mind. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.